Hello and welcome. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon. You are listening to And Another Thing. We are Joella and Helen, and this is episode 2.
I'm so sorry, everybody. We've been trying to hold this in. It's taken us about 5 minutes to start.
For the last 5 minutes, we've just been sitting here laughing.
Well, it started because we popped out in Joe's car after we got to Joe's house. And then she'd bought some soup home from work. And I said, just don't forget your soup. And I picked the soup up. And I went, there's your soup.
But it started to spill a little bit. I can't even look at you while I'm telling a story.
Yeah.
So I had a to-go container on the floor of my passenger seat in the front of my car, and it had started to spill a little bit. And so Helen had hopped into that side of the car. We'd popped out for a second, come back. She said, oh, don't forget your soup. So she'd picked it up, but you said that you'd picked it up by the lid.
Kind of more of the lid. I had a bit of
because it had kind of got soup on the side because it had kind of spilled. And then Helen comes around the side of the car and she's like, here's your soup. And I go around the back of the car and my soup is on the ground, upside down, with the lid somewhere else.
The lid was in my hand. It just flopped out and went upside down, and I was like, here's your soup. And I've just got the lid. It's all over the drive. That's how that started.
So that's how that started, and then we've just had the giggles ever since, trying to pull ourselves together. And here you are.
Anyway, welcome. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I was literally just about to fix my glasses just then. I don't have them on. That's how the day is going, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our podcast. If you've never joined us before, you're thinking, who the hell are these people? We don't usually start off with laughter, but we had sat here for the last... We're at 4 minutes right now, so 2 or 3 of those minutes previously were
every
just
time
us
you
laughing.
tried to start, we just laughed, and it's not even funny. Although Joe just took a big mouthful of tea. Well, that's what set us off again, and that was hot.
Because it was hot, and I slurped it, and then Helen just laughed at me because I must have... Did I make a face?
You did. I could tell that was burning. Anyway, what do we have to tell people?
Welcome to episode 26.
Oh, yes, 26. I don't think they heard that because we were laughing.
Well, we've had a fun part of our week. We've had a boring part of our week. And now we're here. So what was the fun part of our week, Helen?
The week from the podcast, Joe took me out on Friday for a surprise for my birthday.
What do you mean, the week from the podcast?
You said for the week. So week begins on Monday. So basically Monday has just been diddly-diddly-dee. But the fun bit was Friday.
Okay.
And you took me out somewhere for a surprise for my birthday, which was the previous Monday. Mm-hmm. And we went for high tea in Niagara-on-the-Lake at the Prince of Wales Hotel.
So fancy.
It was so fancy. And it was, well, we didn't know we needed it.
No, it was the perfect day. The weather was perfect. The temperature was perfect.
Yeah.
The food was brilliant.
Yeah.
The tea was great. The conversation was great.
Yes.
It was just perfect.
I said to Scott afterwards that it was different because now we work with each other and we catch up a bit, and then we do the podcast, which is kind of our catch up, but then we've lost the actual catch up, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So that was it was very good.
Yes.
It was nice to spend time with you on that day, and it was a lovely surprise. So it was a great day. Mm-hmm. And we just felt like, it's like we'd been on an adventure.
It was. I think, I didn't tell you this on the day, but I was starting to feel the humdrum of everything.
Yeah.
You know, when you just go to work, you come home, you drive the same route. And for some people, that is just like, that floats their boat. Mm-hmm. For me, I get into probably about, I don't know, a couple of weeks of doing that, and then I start getting itchy. Mm-hmm. I'm like, maybe I should take a different route home. Like, I just get bored. Yeah. My brain gets bored. I get bored. I'm like, I want to go somewhere. I want to travel. I want to see something different. I want to go to a different town and explore something new. And I think that particular day was like the break that I needed to do something fun and
I
different.
didn't even know I needed that day until that day happened. It was great.
It was.
Yeah, so thank you again. It was delicious. I could do it again.
Oh, I couldn't.
Easily.
Honestly, I ate so much. I felt like I just had to roll out there. I don't know if our listeners, if you've ever been to a high tea situation, you look at what gets given to you and you think to yourself, seriously, is that it?
Yeah. 3 sandwiches.
Yeah. And then some sweet things.
Yeah.
And then cup of tea. How the heck is that going to fill me? Honestly, we couldn't eat it all.
No.
I was so full.
But it was
the
nice
entire day I was that full.
because we just slowly took our time and didn't like woof it down. The people next to us came and went and we were still there.
Although there was a point too where I said something about it being 2:30 and you're like, I haven't even paid attention to the time today. I was like, neither had I.
Yeah.
Didn't even know what time of the day it was. That's how lovely it was.
Yeah.
We just didn't even look at our phone, didn't look at the time. We had the whole day to just do whatever
we wanted.
Yeah. It
was perfect.
So that was the
Perfect.
fun.
Yeah.
Fun of the day. Fun of the week.
Fun of the week. And then we had Saturday, which was busy. And we were
remember what
a staff
Saturday
member
was.
down.
Right.
And we were quite steady. We got rocked in the morning.
Did I open on Saturday? I don't think I did.
I honestly can't remember. But you were there.
Yeah.
You did open. You stayed a bit for me.
Oh, that's right. Yes. We had a staff member down and then I stayed.
You stayed just to help out a bit at the end. So that was a busy day. Sunday, not so much. But I did have somebody come in that was like, you can see it's busy, mate. So he comes to the end where we hand off drinks and he said, excuse me, can I just get a takeaway cup for my drink and a lid? Well, he didn't say a lid, but I always give a lid. I said, yeah, no problem. So he can see that I'm busy because I'm quick. Yeah, no problem. So I grabbed the cup and I take it to him. I said, there you go. He goes, oh, actually, can I have 2 of those? I'm like, yep, no problem. So go and get another one with a lid. Like, is that everything? Oh, and I need a bag.
Oh, my goodness.
I am like 3 strikes.
We have had this, not on the podcast, we've had this conversation before at work of how many times does somebody have to ask for something
from the same table?
From the same table, from the same person, before it goes from, yep, no problem, to you are actually starting to piss me off right now. Like, it's becoming a problem.
Yeah.
Like, just ask at the very beginning for all your things.
Yes.
Especially when it's busy.
Yeah, so I'm trying to go back to the station that I was on from whatever I was doing before.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like, there you go, can I have another one? Yep, there you go. Oh, and I need a bag. I'm like, oh... Your bag, anything else? Like, I'm losing my mind with you right now. And then also, when you're trying to call a line to speed things along, and you say, can I get you any drinks started? And they say, no, I'm just having this. And then they get to the POS, and then they say, can I have, have some water? And you're like, that's a drink. I asked you if you wanted a drink. I could have had that ready, and it could be being delivered right now. But now you're saying, oh, I can have some water. That's what you call a drink.
Yes.
Or, can I get you a drink started? Yes, I'll have an egg salad sandwich. Well, that's not a drink.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm like, okay, but a drink? I'm asking you for a drink. So it was kind of one of those on Saturday.
Yeah, we have some people. I'm going to tell the story of...
No, I'm leaning away.
Oh.
I was coughing.
Oh, sorry.
There's no frog at the window or anything.
That also reminded, I don't know if it goes into the same vein, so tell me if it fits, but the lady that ticked me off the other day because she was waiting for the item. So she ordered a particular item. She wasn't told at the till that it takes a while. So it was probably about 2/3 of the way in from being finished. And I just thought, I'm just going to go over and tell her it's nearly done. I'm sorry about the wait, because she'd been waiting about 10 minutes already. It was a product that it just takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Just naturally, because it's a little bit bigger. It just takes longer for us to be able to put it together and to have it finished.
Yeah.
And so 10 minutes in, I'm like, okay, we've probably got about 2 more minutes to go. I'm just going to let her know, because she's probably getting antsy if you don't already know that it takes long. So I went over and I just said to her, look, I'm so sorry about the wait. This product usually does take a little bit longer. It's only going to be about 2 more minutes and then we're good to go. And she's like, oh, okay, well, I didn't realize it was going to take this long. I'm like, okay, well, I'm sorry about the miscommunication, but it is a bigger product, so it does take a little bit longer. She's like, okay. And then I went away, and then it got finished, and then I was the one that took it out to her, and she just said to me straight in the face, she's like, I wouldn't have ordered this if I knew it was going to take this. And she got really rude with me. And I just thought, mate, I had the opportunity. I suppose it's more of a flip side to the asking 3 times for different things. But I was like, I gave you an opportunity to talk to me in the moment to say, look, I'm really not happy to wait 2 more minutes. I actually would prefer just to have a refund.
Yeah.
But I got so wild and then I just was like, well, I'm sorry. No, what did I say? Oh, I had a really great line, actually. I felt so proud of myself. Because it was I hear you, thank you for your, I said thank you for your feedback, have a great day.
The thing about those people is they also can't see the back of house and how many things before that you had to get ready.
Yeah.
Like, you're not the only one in this town that has come in today.
We're not McDonald's.
Something. Yeah.
We don't have chips and fries. We don't have burgers. We don't have things just constantly on the go. There are some things that we have to kind of make a little bit from scratch.
Yeah.
That's in 10 minutes. I mean, you're sitting at home waiting for your toast to pop for 10 minutes.
or your kettle to boil.
It's like...
And you were nice enough to go over.
And explain.
And because it was a bit later, because you had other things to do ahead of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So maybe they're in the same category, but the same coin, but flipped sides.
Not reading the room.
And then either asking one question, can I have a to-go cup? Yep. Oh, can I have yep. Can I actually have a bag? I'm like, oh, for goodness sake. You've asked 3 questions, strikes out.
That's enough.
Yeah. Or the other side is I've given you an opportunity, like going to a table, delivering things. Are you guys waiting for anything else? No, we've got everything, thanks. And then 10 minutes later coming back being all antsy because, I haven't received this. Well, I gave you an opportunity to say, have you received everything? And then you get angry with us 10 minutes later because, yeah. Oh, welcome to our week, folks.
I do have to tell you that guy came in today that just makes me cringe a bit. When he says, you make me a drink, you pick the drink. It's not the other guy that asked for the drink.
Oh,
it's
okay.
a different, because he's perfectly lovely.
Okay.
And he doesn't mind at all. But this one will say, you pick me a drink, make me a drink that you think, I want a sexy drink. I'm feeling sexy today. And it's like, dude, like, no, just no. And it wasn't me that was on the till.
Oh, no.
To, handle it right. And then the person that was on the till, I'm like, that's so awkward for them. And I was just like, I'll get you a drink. I jumped in because I'm like, no, they don't know what to say to you right now. This is really awkward.
And honestly, everybody else that was at the till today were a lot younger.
Yeah.
And you could see that they're a lot younger. And for anybody of any age to say that to somebody who looks like they're late teens, 2021, not okay.
Yeah, it's not okay.
What's a sexy drink? Go across to the bar, mate.
Yeah.
They'll make you a fancy-ass cocktail. You can feel sexy drinking that.
Don't think you're going to feel sexy drinking your mocha or your pumpkin latte today. Ooh. Anyway, he was in.
Give you a shot of espresso. There you go, mate. Cool you off.
See how sexy you feel now. Anyway, he comes in quite a lot, but he says it every time. It's like his trademark, I think.
Pick a better trademark, dude.
But I can't speak.
Yeah.
That's all for the... last week we had the cyclist that lost his glasses case. I'm surprised he hasn't really called back again. He was walking around and around.
Was it a glasses case or his actual glasses? I thought it was his glasses.
Oh, you might be right. It was his glasses.
Yeah,
I've
so
just put lost cyclist glasses.
The cyclist, dressed in white, everything was white. He kept on walking around. Our entire full cafe kept on walking around as if he was trying to find something. He was trying to find his glasses, which were also white. And then his mate comes around, starts walking around our entire cafe trying to find them his mate glasses, which is white because they're lost. And then I hear him say at one point, he's like, I've never had this happen before. I'm like, of course not, mate, because you've never lost your glasses.
But they put them on the back of their, they turn them upside down and they slot them into the back of their helmet. So he's probably... lost it that way.
And the way that he was walking around and kind of talking to us as if, have you seen my glasses? As if it's our fault that you've lost your glasses.
Yeah. Or you must have them because I can't have lost them. They must
be somewhere.
Yeah, they must be.
Because it's never happened to me before.
But I've just ordered my drink and gone outside, but I'm going to walk around the whole restaurant like as if they've magically gone to this table when you didn't even go up there. He's looking under the table.
Yeah.
It's like when I'm sorry, Mum, if you're listening, but it's like the time we lost the cat. We couldn't find the cat at Mum's house. A slightly different story, I guess. But it's like, where's the cat? I'm like, I don't know where the cat is. My cousin Sarah was there at the time, and we still laugh about that when we meet up. And we couldn't find the cat. Well, the cat is not outside. It must be inside somewhere. So Mum starts looking under cushions and like picking up cushions. The cat's
the
not,
rug.
yeah, looking in the most extreme places for the cat. Where, have you seen the cat? I can't find the cat. And the cushion would come up and then looking under the sofa. And it's like that. The cat is not there. The cat was, in fact, out. We didn't know.
Okay.
But your glasses are not at the other end of the restaurant by the fireplace. Because why would they be there?
Oh, he was very entertaining.
He's
he
probably
did
going
not
to come
find
back
his
this
glasses.
week and walk around to see if he finds them again. Anyway, I need another sip of tea.
Okay. Well, on that note, thank you very much for listening to not this week's podcast because we haven't finished yet. Just our what have we done? We'll take a break. We'll be right. That was terrible.
We're just going to have a sip of tea and we'll be right back.
Okay, and we're back.
And we're back. And I need to do a little explanation.
Okay.
Because I have found out that, well, first of all, Scott yells at the podcast.
Would you like to tell our listeners, just in case they're new to this particular episode, who Scott is?
Scott is my husband. Mm-hmm. And he's in the car listening without me and yelling at things I've forgotten what they are.
Right.
And then I found out at the weekend when we were visiting with Megan. We took Gail, my mother-in-law, over there, and Lee and all the family
Megan
and stuff.
is
Megan,
Scott's cousin.
yeah, who's going to be a podcast person soon, a guest at some point. She's very excited about it. Anyway, that she also yells at the podcast when I forget information. Mm-hmm. But I just want to explain.
I love the fact that there are people out there in the world
That are interacting.
well listening to our podcast yelling at us.
Yeah.
Saying, you got it wrong, Helen.
And I just can't remember it. And I skip along and then they're yelling the answer at me. And clearly I can't.
Like a week later.
Yeah,
Good
exactly.
Good for them.
So what happens is through my life, I've not been very quick at recalling information. Mm-hmm. But since menopause,
Your short-term memory is
short-term
not as strong.
and long-term. Like, it takes a while.
Right.
It's back in there. Like, it's back in the back of my brain. So if
way back in the memory files.
it's not like podcast quick. Mm-hmm. So it's more like, oh, what's their name? And then I've got to think about it. And I could either in 5 minutes' time go, pickled onion, like something that I can't remember, or it takes much longer. So we can't wait for that on the podcast. It's going to be boring.
Yeah.
Boring gaps for me to... And sometimes
and
I think
remember.
I've got it in my brain and it's like candy floss and it's like, oh, it's there. And then it goes... And it's gone. And I have to start all over again from the back of my brain to try and remember it. So, yeah, you're always going to be yelling at the podcast. So get used to it.
Also, it's just a description of the different environments that we're in with this one, because this is a constant conversation. We very rarely pause unless a noise happens or we get distracted or something's banging or if we've actually intentionally taken a break. But we've kind of become used to the flow of talking into a microphone and talking across the table from each other that our flow just keeps on going. And so for you to actually have to stop and for me to wait and listen to the pause, there's just a lot of dead silence, which we could naturally just do and I could cut it out. Mm-hmm. But for the way that we flow within our recording sessions, it doesn't actually work like that. So you've had to cut that memory part off and just allow for yourself to speak the words and then just think, well, someone's going to yell at me later on because I can't
I'll
remember
drive
it.
Be on my way home and then I'll be like, oh, yeah, that was it. It's too late.
that.
Yeah, it's too late now. So, yes, I just wanted to explain that. It takes a while for me to retrieve names and places and all that business. So
Thank you for that. I hope that the people who yell at you have a little bit more little bit more
They'll
grace.
probably still yell.
Probably still yell,
That's
but that's
fine.
okay. You
Yep.
can't hear them. On the other hand, I get messages from my mum especially, and then occasionally different friends who will message me, and I can tell that they're listening to the podcast because my mum especially will send me a whole bunch of messages. Actually, I haven't told you this, but she's listened to the Sarah Millican one when we were talking about Bobby Dazzler.
Yeah.
And all I get is a message saying, Bobby Dazzler used to be a racehorse in New Zealand.
So then you know.
So then I know that my mum's listening and I know what episode she's listening to. And I love it. It's so good.
That's what my sister does. I get little, like, very short little messages.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this
as
is
if
podcast
they're having
reply.
a conversation
Yeah.
because they want to have a conversation with us, which is also, I think that's more lovely. Let's just hold on to those ones rather than people yelling at you.
Yeah, well, I won't
Instead.
find out they're yelling. Well,
Yeah.
Scott tells me, but I won't find out about anyone else yelling. But he'll just come in and he'll just go, Saudi Arabia, like that. And I'm like, what? Like, because I haven't realised that's where we used to live. I'm like, oh, right. You listened to the podcast. You remember. Right, what are we moving on to?
We're moving on to the subject of kind of the nuance between big business. Well, there's a lot within this, and we're kind of going to touch on a few things. But big cafe, little cafe, what are the differences? How do profit, losses, labour, percentages, food, kind of all of that. It's a big topic, but we're kind of just going to narrow it down.
We don't want to make it boring either.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to caveat this with, I have to look at what caveat means because I feel like it fits with this situation.
well, I like the word, but I have no idea what it means.
Okay.
Megan's probably yelling at me now.
Someone's yelling, saying, it means this and it fits the situation. So shut up and move along. So the other week we were talking about gift cards and we mentioned how it was great for sales. And then I said, but on the books, they're not counted as an asset. They're a liability. And then I kind of like veered off and said, I don't actually know too much about this. So I actually messaged my sister and I clipped that part of the audio and I sent it to her. She's a bookkeeper, accountant, financial consultant person. So she's numbers is her world and she thrives in it. And so I just said to her, like, can you listen to this and tell us if we're right? Because essentially, if you're new to this podcast, we're not experts in anything except between us, we've worked in hospitality for a lot of our lives.
Yeah.
And that's what we're an expert in. Are we an expert in bookkeeping? No, we're not. Are we an expert on how to financially run a successful business? Some aspects we are. Other aspects, have we owned a business? No, we haven't. And so I wanted to caveat with that with kind of what my sister said. She said, you can add it like, because I said, should I leave this in? Because I don't want us to sound stupid. I still want us to sound like we know a little bit about what we're saying, but I don't want us to sound dumb. And she said, you don't sound dumb, but you also don't sound like accountants. And I was like, great, because we're not.
No.
So I put this in here just to kind of say, if you've never listened to us before and you've come on board, welcome. But also, we're experts in the everyday of hospitality.
Yeah. Not the back scenes.
Yeah. So we know a lot of this, but if you're an accountant listening to us, hold your yells and screams.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the ride of us laughing as friends.
Or turn it off.
Or turn it off and go find your accounting podcast that you can learn more on.
I'm sure they're really interesting.
So, take us away, Helen.
My question is to you, if you had a business, do you think you would prefer a small business, a tiny coffee shop, for example, or a large coffee shop? Like, what do you think is going to... Well, I don't even know if it's a question because I think I already know the answer because we asked this last week. We feel like we would like a smaller one.
Mm-hmm. For me personally, I've got a two-part answer.
Yeah.
If it was a cafe or coffee shop, I would like a smaller style. I wouldn't want a big one.
Yeah.
But also, if I'm thinking business, if I had a business, I would want a bigger business because I've had many business ideas in my life. And part of it has been, how can I have how can I take what I've got as an idea into a factory setting to then mass produce in a way that...
So a different environment.
So a different environment. So I've got two minds of a business thought, but as a cafe, I would want it smaller than bigger. Because it creates, for me, an atmosphere of community. Yeah. I think too big, you kind of just lose that community sense a little bit more. I feel like it would probably be easier to manage because I would want to work in it and I would want to be a part of it. I wouldn't want it big enough that I'm actually not in touch with that anymore. And I think with a smaller place, you can't really do that as an owner. If you want it to be profitable and succeed.
Well, that's right.
That's probably
you have
more
to
my
work
thoughts.
in it. That's
and also,
what I think.
Sometimes you just don't want to work with that many people. People are hard to work with.
Well, people think that if they have a bigger place and more bums on seats, then they're going to make more money. Mm-hmm. Which...
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Because the bigger the place... the more staff you're going to have. So your labour percentage against your sales is going to be higher. Mm-hmm. And you're going to have, you're going to pay more for utilities.
Your rent's going to be higher.
Everything's going to be a bit higher. So although it looks like you're going to make more money because you've got more room to fit more people in, it's not... Well, you probably still would make more money, but your outlays are also high. Mm-hmm. So if you have a smaller business, you could have 2 or 3 people working, and maybe you don't really have a much seating area, but the constant flow of people with takeout, it's going to be better. You're still going to make a profit, but maybe just not as much profit as if you had a bigger place. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right.
So should I share what my mum said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we kind of touched base together, you and I, about what we were going to talk about this week. And I sent a very quick message to my mum and I said, this is the topic that we're going to talk about. And if you were to offer any information...
Yeah, because your mum has had a...
My mum used to own a restaurant.
Yeah.
And it was, I think at a max, it sat about 30 people.
And it wasn't a franchise.
It was not a franchise.
No, okay,
it was
that's going to be a different kettle of fish altogether.
Yeah, it was an individually owned, very small, and this was... I'm trying to think, how old am I? When did I work in there? It was about 20 years ago that she owned this. Well, probably a bit more than 20 years ago. And so it was back in the days when restaurants had definitely changed. The environment has changed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if 20 years, the restaurant business was thriving.
Yeah. So she was a cafe in the daytime. She closed about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon and then reopened at about 5:30 in the evening. And then it switched over to be a restaurant. So the themes were a little bit different. The food was a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So I was saying to my mum, from somebody who's owned that kind of business, what would your insight be? She said she had a really great manager when she bought the place. Steph was the person. She had been at the manager at the previous, before it was sold. Yeah. My mum bought it and then restructured it and turned it into her own place. Steph stayed, and Steph had, I don't know if she had gone to school or management or a business class, but this woman had a wealth of knowledge, and she was my mum's saving grace with this business. She just knew a lot. And so Steph's advice to my mum was a 20-30, 30-20 ratio. Mm-hmm. So you would aim for a 20% profit. You would aim that 30% of your sale, like 30% of your business would go to your non-variables. So things that never change, which is your rent, your power, your utilities. And then 20% was your wages, and then 30% was your sales cost. So anything that you're purchasing and selling, that's your 30% margin on that.
Or what, food cost kind of thing.
Costs, yeah. So food or drinks or whatever.
And paper products, all in that.
All of that would be in it. So again, this is 20 years ago, but this, my mum said it was a great rule to live by. So she said, she sent me a voice note, and I was going to see if I could try and put it in there, but I didn't ask my mum. It was only sent last night. It was very quick turnaround. But she said, so for her, it was such a small place, they probably did about $6,000 in a week. That's kind of what she averaged. And then she said there was a bar that opened up around the corner. I remember it. And it's called The Vault. Oh, it was such a great place. I didn't go to it because I was too young. But I remember it was like styled really well. Mm-hmm. And they opened late. And they also catered to people who worked in hospitality, and you could go there for a drink afterwards. So, but because they were a bar and because they were bigger, my mum said at that time, they probably averaged about $27,000 a week of revenue, which, again, that alcohol, so it produces more. Mm-hmm. But she said the difference is not that they're making more money than her, but percentage-wise, because she's a smaller place, if you take 20% from $6,000 and 20% from $27,000, naturally that profit is going to look bigger, but it's within the means of the size of the business.
Yes.
So, yeah, that was kind of what my mum said, and I thought, actually, I've never thought about it in that way. Yeah. And I don't know if in today's world that percentage could still work. Just, is the cost of rent and for buildings that much higher? And
well, I imagine Well, everything's gone up hugely if you think about it. That's why there's so many restaurants that are folding. Like they can't, since COVID.
So much has shifted and
changed a lot. I mean, if you think about the place where we work, we used to be open much later in the evening, and the pubs around us and the places around us were also open. But the end of town where we are now, there's nothing happening.
No.
In the evenings.
Come 8 o'clock, it's all dead. Even the pubs by 9:30, they kind of close.
Yeah, which is so weird because when I used to come and visit Canada, you used to be able to go out to the pub. You know, like in Britain, it would be 10 or 11. I can't remember what time the bars would shut, but they'd ring for last orders. But here you could
Someone's yelling at you.
I know. They'd ring for last orders, but you could go out at that time here because the pubs and everything were open. Right. So, like, which might still be the case in
different
big
parts.
cities. Yeah.
Yeah. But where we definitely are.
So people are really struggling and the price of food has gone up. So to keep your, like your food cost at that.
Mm-hmm. And then the cost of living goes up. And then the wages. So everything. But I'm still curious from a business sense if that ratio still remains. But whether it is or isn't, that's kind of what my mum lived by 20 years ago. And she said it was hard because there were some weeks where you didn't do $6,000 and you only had, 3 people come in or 3 tables filled within the evening. You're like, well, 8 o'clock, no one else is coming. Shall we shut the doors and go home? And that was kind of it. And so, and she said I had to teach myself not to worry in those evenings because it did manage itself out and it did balance itself out. But it's really hard in those nights to kind of just say, this is not the end of the story. It's not the whole picture, but oh boy, it hurts in the moment.
Oh, I'm sure, because you've probably still got that same amount of staff in and you might be able to send somebody home early, but you've still spent the same amount on labour of having them there with 3 tables.
Yeah.
It's hard. I find that, well, we've got our food cost quite well. You've done an amazing job on the... What's it called? Spreadsheet thing that you've done, whatever you've done. Yeah. So you've done an amazing job at that and we can keep a close eye on our food costs and stuff.
Yeah.
And we do a pretty good job with our labour, sending people home if we don't need it. But it's hard to know what's going to happen in this industry. You don't know whether you're going to get a lunch.
Yeah, because you could have such a dud morning.
Yeah.
And then you think, well, I need to try and save a labour percentage so that we can still navigate that 20% or the 30% mark that we're aiming for.
Yeah.
And then lunchtime comes and you're like, all of a sudden everyone's out and about in town with
and you've sent somebody home and then you're scrambling. And then you actually don't save any labour because the people that are there then have to stay an extra hour.
To be able to help.
Be able to hand over. So
yeah,
it's a really difficult situation. And then, like, if you're on a close, is it better to have, like less people closing, but you take longer to do it? Or is it better to have more people closing and you're out within 15 minutes? Mm-hmm. Like, at that stage of the game, if you've had a busy day, I would say more people because you get out quicker and you're not expecting the people that have been there like for a very long time to then try and do another
because
hour.
By that point your energy levels are just shot and it's so hard to try and
rally. That's where we talk about fresh legs. Those people that come in at 2, they are a saver. And if I don't think we've got fresh legs coming up this weekend. There's no fresh legs at 2. So these 10 o'clock legs are still going to be...
Crusty Old Legs. Yeah. That's what it's going to be called.
But they're a lifesaver because they've got that little bit more energy and they give everybody else a little bit of a boost. And then if it is quiet, you can send those people with the old legs home early. And then you're keeping people that have only been there a couple of hours to fit. It works perfectly. Mm-hmm. But if there's any time when it is quiet, you just have to make sure that your team are doing something positive for the business. Mm-hmm. So, you can't send them home before lunch because you don't know what's going to happen, but you've taken bugger all money in the morning and it's scary. It's even more scary when that happens on a time and a half day.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh my God, we can't.
And then you wonder what you do, and then you're like, well, it's a time and a half day. It's gonna get busy at lunchtime.
But you just don't know when the lunchtime is. But you just don't know. Yeah, you just don't know.
And I wonder too, so we're talking about the difference between the sizes of a business, how this reality, I bet you 100% it's the same. We're I would say we're a medium-sized cafe. Yeah. So with smaller and with larger, 100% they would have these same things of, well, hey, we've got all of these people here. do we send them home because it hasn't gotten busy yet? But we can't send them home because they've only just gotten here and they're a closer. So how do we navigate that? And it's just, well, essentially, I suppose what we're trying to explain is that it's just a navigation process. But for us as leaders, we have a monetary concept in mind.
Yes.
Because we're aware of how much labour are we spending, how much are we losing.
Yeah.
Because we haven't, like, someone hasn't come in to be able to cover
I
that
often
cost.
find that if you have a team in the morning that's a little bit stronger, that you can push back the times of the people starting. Like, for instance, that we did that today. But we were a little bit busy in the morning, but we still coped, knowing that someone was coming in. So we already had saved some labour in the morning because we had a strong team, because there is no way we could have sent anybody home to save any labour because we had a decent lunch and things to catch up on.
Yeah.
So... And you have to look back at records. You know, you look back at last year, how are the trends going, and how are the trends of the week and stuff going? Mm-hmm. But then a few days ago, we had a look, when it was that holiday day, what was it like last year? Oh,
Yeah.
nothing
And
much.
was there
and
last
then
year.
this year, poof,
Yeah.
they needed more people.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to navigate that. But we just wanted to touch. It doesn't really matter whether it's a small company or a big company. Mm-hmm. That's the same. But I think if you're a small company, or maybe with a large one too, if it was mine, I'd want to be there all the time. Like at the
I was going to
beginning,
say,
like-
I wonder if the difference between a smaller place, if you were the owner, then first of all, you've already cut down a labour cost.
Yeah.
Because
you're not getting paid, especially at the beginning of
Yeah.
a business.
yeah, and isn't that said like within the first 3 to 5 years?
I think it's the first 5 to 7.
Right, okay.
Like if you've worked as an owner there for 5 years, this is how much money you've saved on labour.
Right.
And you might at that point be able to step out and afford to replace you a bit more.
And then take a step back and then actually enjoy the benefits of what your business is
but
producing.
you can't do that right from the word go, because you know you're paying somebody to do a job that you could do.
Yeah.
And you've got
also
to build your business.
Exactly, yeah. And that, I suppose, would probably not change whether you're a small business or a big business, because you still need to be able to have your finger on the pulse.
Yeah, you need to know what's
going on. And
I would want to know what's going on. So I might not, after 5 years, I might not have to work every single day, but I would still want to work. That's my business.
Yeah. But I would want to work too, but that's also because that's my people and that's my regulars, and I would want to...
You enjoy the interactions with them.
Yeah.
But but then I've never been that side, so I know that there's a lot more work involved behind the scenes that you have to do, so you can't be on the floor all the time.
Absolutely. And there's so much admin that you don't really take into consideration, because even if you did work a 40-hour week, then you'd have to come home and essentially do the scheduling, do the ordering, do the maintenance of making sure where you're at financially.
Yeah.
How much money are you spending on an order each week? How much is going out with labour each week?
So you have to do all that as the owner. So to work 40 hours a week, it wouldn't be possible. We have the privilege of not having to do all that behind the scenes stuff where we work now. Yeah. Apart from the schedules. So
well, I mean, you hold a lot of different things. Our other owner manager holds a lot of different things. I hold a lot of different things within our leadership team, and then our owner holds his own things of his side of what it takes to run the business.
Yes.
So everybody has their own parts, but I suppose if you're just the sole person, that all falls on you.
Yeah.
Which would probably be a little bit trickier because you wouldn't have that support.
So that's how you might feel in a small business. Mm-hmm. But in a bigger business where you've got more people helping you run it, you've got, as long as we're all going in the same direction. So right now there's 3 of us that are all trying to get in the same direction with the owner. Yeah. So that's all support for the owner. Right. And then we support each other.
Yeah. So. Whereas my mum, she just had her and my dad. Yeah. Like that was kind of it. Well, Steph as well as her manager, but yeah, for a smaller person, she was kind of just it, and you know, she was there all the time. Yeah. It's like my mum was always working, which is why I ended up working in the restaurant with her, because it's like, don't really see you anymore. Yeah, just come work with us. So yeah, and then, you know, we haven't talked about it and we don't really know too much about it, but if you go into a franchise world, then you get the franchise support. So it's a different kind of support network that you have.
Or not support, which a lot of franchisees will probably say. Yeah. Also, in that instance, like when you're in somewhere like a Starbucks, for example, that is Oh, actually, they're not franchise. Okay, then never mind. That's not a good example. But when it's a business like that that's franchised, they don't always look at the area that you're in. So everyone's going to be selling this product. Everyone's going to be doing this. But in certain areas where this restaurant or cafe is, it's not going to work. And you can't adapt it so that your business can make more money. You've just got to sell what they're making you sell.
Right.
Whereas we can, thankfully, change things, and this would work here, or this will be nice
because we
here,
have the freedom of not being under a franchise.
Yes, which is so tying when you are.
Yeah.
You have to do this, and well, that's not going to work. Nobody buys those here.
Yeah.
And it's on your menu as a big feature, and it's just a big bust.
Yeah.
So that's the nice part about being independent.
Well, again, that's also depending on what kind of franchise you own as
Yeah.
well. I bet you there's beautiful franchise stories and then horror franchise
Oh,
stories.
yeah.
Much like owning your own business.
Yes.
So, yeah. Anyway,
that
an
note.
insight into
What we think of the subject.
what we think of the topic. We kind of touched on a few different things, but that's just kind of lifting the curtain behind what we think about, what we experience, what we kind of know. And if you've never owned a food industry place before, that's the reality and that's the lifestyle. I'd be so fascinated to kind of take like 5 different businesses from 5 different mainstream income places
Yes.
of society,
Yeah.
and what makes it kind of function and flow.
Yeah, because every business has to do this. It's not just
and I
restaurants.
wonder how they grapple in different ways.
Yes, how does a factory operate? Because can you send people home in the middle of the day there? You know, like
Yeah,
if you're
and
not
probably not,
producing
because
enough.
you want production levels to keep on going, because they probably have a quota to be able
actually,
to meet.
Scott would have been able to help me with this. I think that when the place he used to work, when there's time of non-production in the product that he was providing, people would get laid off. And then it's hard to get them back again when you need them, because they're like, screw, I've got another job, or I'm doing this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember
Actually,
that happening.
This reminds me, when I used to work in the kiwi fruit pack house back in the day, I talked about this in one of the episodes. And when I left school, I worked in a kiwi fruit pack house and an avocado pack house. So there was same company, different seasons, different fruits would come through. And basically, there were some times where you didn't get a lot of crop from that picking that day. And so there were times where it was like, well, we only need one person on this end of the conveyor belt. So everyone else, you're going home. And that was when I was the only person left managing 24 conveyor belts and having to like make boxes this is the most boring job ever.
Yeah.
But to make boxes to then shoot them in. So in that context, seasonal.
Yeah.
Yep, you get sent home. But yeah, anyway, interesting topics.
Yeah.
We've touched on it very slightly, so you've got a little bit of glimpse behind the curtain. On that note, we're going to take a sip of tea. We'll be right back.
And we're back.
Yes, we are.
Are we back?
Yes,
okay,
we
we're
are.
back. Right.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. Well, wasn't that Strictly? Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba.
No, what Strictly? Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. Oh, God, I can't forget that. How
Anyway.
is your show, by the way?
Dancing with the Stars. We didn't watch it this week because my niece with the baby had a terrible night with the baby and no one got sleep. So she's like, I can't have people around. I'm going to bed.
But now you know who went home.
But the girls were messaging today and they were like, I've been trying to avoid social media, but I can't. And I know who got booted. And I'm like, I haven't seen anything because I haven't been on my phone. So you need to tell me who got the boot. So they told me.
So you
and I
can
was
skip
so,
a week.
Well, we might still watch a few of the dances, but we did miss a week. Robert is still in there.
Okay.
Still excited.
Your boy's there.
Yeah. There's actually a couple that I quite like in this particular season. Anyway.
Right, who does that? Do you want to do yours?
Who
does that?
My one is, okay, this is the one example and then I have a question with it.
Okay.
A simple example, we had 3 margarine containers in the fridge today. 2 of them were open. Not only were 2 of them open, but they were so open that there was probably about a scoop and a half left in both of them. And I'm like, literally, I say to myself, who does this? And I'm audible. And I wish I could record myself because I open it up and I'm like, who does this? Come on. So I condensed them both together, put them back in.
Love a bit of condensing.
Carried on. But my thought was, as I was thinking about it later, do we think of the way of, before I open this product, I'm going to make sure that there's not already one in the area that needs to be, like, that's already opened. Because with us, we think about, before I open this, is there one that's already opened? If not, okay, great, I'm going to open this. When I open this, is this the last one that's open? Or do we have any more? And should I probably write it on the list of our ordering sheet?
Yeah.
So my question is, are we irregular people in this scenario? Because regular people just go along with their lives and they're like, oh, I've run out of this. I didn't realise. And then they just put it on their shopping list, or they just go willy-nilly shopping and think, oh, I might just get this. Or they are a different style of people and they go to the supermarket and they think, I need to go. Oh, I've seen these clips. Somebody went to the store to get hoisin sauce. Come home, I got hoisin sauce. So funny.
I haven't seen this. I think I might be slightly different at work and at home.
Okay.
Because I don't do the shopping at home.
Okay.
Sometimes I don't know, like I write things down and I don't know if we actually have it, because otherwise I have to keep getting up and down, or I have to do like an inventory.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, I don't want to do an inventory. I actually hate doing this whole what do we need thing anyway on a Friday.
Right.
So I've just write it down and think that Scott will be like, well, we've already got this. And then he would cross it off. So that's his responsibility.
Okay.
I feel like. But at work, because I'm more in charge, more in control and aware of what's going on, as soon as I see somebody tipping something out, I'm like, is that the last one? Like,
yes.
So my mentality.
Because it's your responsibility.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And if at home we haven't got something, then we haven't got it and it'll just go on next week's list.
Right.
So... yeah, so I'm a bit more... And if I go shopping, because I don't know what's at home, I'm a willy-nilly shopper.
Right. So you just go and spend crap.
Yes.
Like you buy whatever you find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really go shopping very often.
Okay.
For that reason, because then I'll be like, what's this doing in here? Where did we get this from? I get questioned on my purchases.
All the time?
Yeah.
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 I suppose mine's different because I live by myself, so I'm the only shopper and I'm the only person that eats anything in my house.
So that's different for you, so you know what you have.
Yeah, and I don't, honestly, I have so little in my cupboards and in my fridge that I know that I don't even have it, so what's the point of even looking anyway?
Yeah. We have things in our freezer I don't even know are there. I was looking for something when Gail was there the other day and we had to have a good old route through the freezer. I'm like, oh, at least I now know.
Do they say that?
Route through. I know that.
Have a route through.
Yeah, have a route around.
Yeah,
but I know that means something else.
Because I would say have a route around.
But in Australia, that means something different, doesn't it?
Most probably.
It does. I've heard that before.
But what does it mean here?
I don't know. To me, it means have a route around.
I'm really curious. I've never actually thought about this with Canadians. Well, Canadians. What does have a route around?
Can't you just have a quick look it up on the
I probably could, yeah. So anyway, that was my who does that. That was my question to go with it. Thank you very much for answering that. Now, do you have something?
Mine isn't a who does that. Mine is, did you know this?
Okay.
Did you know that coffee cake in England, I'd be interested to know about New Zealand, and coffee cake in Canada is a different product?
What?
Right. So, coffee cake in England actually has coffee in it.
Yeah.
So the sponge could have coffee in it, or it'll just be the butter icing that has coffee in it. And often it has walnuts on, like it's a coffee walnut cake.
Yeah.
But coffee cake here is a cake that you will have with your coffee.
What?
Yep. You didn't know that.
So, what?
Well, you think about a coffee cake muffin, for example. No coffee in that. That's what made me think about this. It's not coffee.
Why are you calling it a coffee cake?
I know.
Then?
It's a coffee cake. It's something that you would have.
But what if you have a chocolate cake with your coffee? Are you saying that that's a coffee cake? It's not a chocolate cake? Or is it a specific
No, this
style?
is just designed. So the coffee cakes here will be more cinnamon and vanilla and normally not have any icing on. They have like more of a crumbly texture on the top.
Oh.
And the ones in the UK will almost always be iced.
Yes.
And the sponge is sometimes...
When you said walnuts, yes, coffee cake with walnuts on it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's what
and
I
it's
would
a
call
lighter sponge.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it would have coffee in it.
When we went round to Lee's and Cheryl's house on the weekend where Megan and we had the family thing.
Yeah.
Cheryl had made this most delicious cake, which was called coffee cake, but it didn't taste of coffee. So that's also what sparked my interest in, like, why is this?
Well, what kind of cake was it then?
It was like a vanilla-y. It was just so nice. I can't describe it. It was just a delicious cake, which would have been lovely with a cup of tea or a piece of coffee.
Your describing skills need to be good.
It was a sugary, vanilla-y deliciousness of cake. Well, how else can I describe it?
No, this is reminding me of when you went to the Mediterranean place and you had this lovely cake that you got given for free, and you're like, ooh, and we wanted to try it.
Oh, yeah.
But nobody wanted coconut, and you're like, oh, it was so good. And I was like, what was it like?
Coconutty and moussey.
That was it.
Yeah, I am rubbish at explaining. But so there you go. So if you go to England and think, oh, coffee cake, great, I'll have that with my coffee. Be ready, it tastes of coffee.
I am bamboozled. I did not know this. Mm-hmm. I'm still bamboozled. What the stuff are you calling a coffee cake? Has it got no... That's
just what they do. Just don't have a go at them. That's just what they like. Canadians.
That's like calling a chocolate cake.
No, chocolate cake is a chocolate cake, but I do understand what you mean. They don't have Victoria sponges here, do they either?
I don't think so. Well, it'd be just a sponge cake
with buttercream and jam.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have that here.
Stop talking about cakes. We've got apples to eat.
Okay, so I'm coming back to root around. Very quickly from my 5-second Google search. This basically just says a route around means something similar to take an alternative path or detour to bypass or avoid an obstacle. That's not what we mean routing around.
No.
So if you're thinking...
They don't... That we wouldn't say routing, they'd say route.
Routing around.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which route are you taking? What? Do you mean which way am I going?
Yeah. So when we say rooting around, it means that we're trying to find something.
Yeah.
We're shuffling around things. Well, I suppose that's also what the meaning is. We're diverting stuff to be able to...
Yeah, you're going to Winners and you've got to have a good route around to find something.
Yeah. Probably in Australia.
You know what? We do have some Australian listeners.
Yeah.
So if you're in Australia, can you get back to us and tell us what... We might not be able to podcast it. I'd like to know what it means, though. Well, I guess you could Google that too.
A route around?
Yeah.
It's like shagging around.
Oh, that's what it means?
Yeah,
shagging about?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're not doing that.
No. No. But just in case you're Canadians and you're thinking, what other connotation could that possibly mean? That's what it means.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Having a good route around.
Yeah.
Something very different. That's what... Do you know what I did this week? I had a good route around looking for this.
Winners.
Not even
Winners. No, the shop Winners.
Good route around in Winners. There's nothing like it, let me tell you.
That's what she said.
Oh.
Okay.
Guess who came in this week?
Oh. We had a delightful visit from Milo this week.
Yeah. Everyone was like,
Milo! Sounds like he's got a fan base. It was so lovely to see him. He stopped by. I said, what you up to today? He's like, procrastinating. I was like, I've got a bunch of stuff to do. I'm like, oh, so you come here to procrastinate? He's like, yep, come to grab some lunch. And I was like, oh, that's nice.
It was nice to see him.
So immediately, me and one of our colleagues swarmed him and basically started chatting to him and saying, Milo, we've missed you so much. We've missed your Milo questions. He's like, have you? And I'm like, yeah, we have, because it's been so boring without you. Immediately, he starts asking us questions.
So we're going to end
oh my goodness.
Today
with an original. Well, actually, it's not an original. I think he took this from something else. But this is a Milo question that he asked straight away off the bat.
Straight in the door.
Yeah. How are you? How's things going? I'm procrastinating. Here's the question.
And then the finger. So.
I didn't get a so.
Oh.
Yeah. You're on a railway trolley.
A railway trolley.
Like a train trolley, like on the tracks. He called it a trolley. So I'm using his words. But you're on the tracks of a railway, right?
Yes. I'm trying to figure out what a trolley is on a railway.
It's
Is it one of those ones where you have to go up and down to move yourself along?
Well, he said trolley. So my brain went to, I'm not a full train with a bunch of carriages. I'm just like the front of I'm the engine carriage.
Okay.
So I don't have a bunch of things behind me. I'm just the engine trolley.
Okay.
So you're the engine train.
Right.
Right? You got no carriages behind you. You're on the track. You're heading towards the track. On your left-hand side, it's veering off. There are 4 people stuck on the track. You're going to run over them. Or you could do the pulley and make the train track go right, but on that train track, you've got 1 person stuck on the train track. You have to kill somebody.
Oh my God. Thanks, Milo.
You're going left to kill 4 people, or are you going right to kill 1 person? And I was like, Milo, what kind of question is this? This is a dumb question. And he's like, well, it's a question. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well, 1. Do feel sorry for that person, though.
That's your answer?
No, actually.
Okay.
What if you went the other way to 4 people? 4 people aren't just going to be stood there and go, oh, there's a train coming. I haven't noticed. They're going to help each other.
No. They are immovable. They are like as if they've been tied down on the train tracks.
I don't like
and they
this
can't
question.
Move. It's a horrible question,
Yeah.
isn't it? So my original answer, and then I thought about it afterwards, and then this is my actual answer. But my original answer was, I'd jump off the train and then not have it as my responsibility.
See where the train goes.
But my actual answer, because I was thinking about it, and I was like, actually, you know what? My actual answer is, wherever the train is heading, I would try and figure out a way to make it stop or to derail the track.
So that you were the one that would get injured.
Yeah.
That's
so there's somehow to try and get it off so that I wouldn't have to, and I wouldn't even be thinking about I have to make a choice of 1 person or 4 person. Wherever that train's heading, I'm doing whatever I can to be able to either make it stop or to make it derailed so it doesn't go to either person. I don't know if that's actually part of the rules of this particular question, but I don't care. He's not here to defend it. But that's what I thought of. I was like, actually, that's what I would do.
I guess I would try and do the same thing because I don't really want to run over anybody.
Yeah.
I didn't even like it when I ran over a rabbit in the car.
Oh, isn't that awful?
It's a big noise.
And then he proceeds to go and say, so you're a doctor and you've got 4 patients that come in and you either have to save them, they've got all these ailments, or you've got 1 person that comes in who's absolutely fine but is complaining about a cough, but you either have to save that 1 person and these 4 people die, or you save these 4 people and that 1 person dies. And he's like, who would you choose? I'm like, what kind of questions are you asking, Milo?
With the dead people.
And I said, you know what, Milo, I'm not a doctor, so I wouldn't know. I was like...
Well, the person with the cough can just take a cough thing and he'd go away. I won't know that he's died, and then I'll save these 4 people. Just so, here's some Buckleys. Off you go.
I heard an ad for Buckley's the other day on the radio, and it said, it made me laugh so much. It goes and says, Buckley's, something about, it's not the worst of all the options.
It's horrible, but it works.
And I was like, what a way to sell something. It's not the worst of all of it. And I was like, you know what? Well, you're not wrong.
They're being honest. It does work.
Yeah.
At Buckley's.
Anyway, that's Milo's question of the week. It was not, it made me think. Anyway.
Yeah.
But also...
can you just come back with some other ones, Milo, when you pop in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must be like a moral... I wonder if those are the weird random questions that if you're going to try and enter into the CIA or something...
Oh, okay,
they ask you these weird moral
yes.
questions because they want to see moralistically, if you're put under the pressure,
what
how would you
do?
respond?
Yeah.
And it would probably tell you something about the way that you...
Yeah.
Whatever. Are you going to save your country or are you going to save yourself? Bum, bum, bum. Or are you going to fight for your country or are you going to betray it? Bum, bum, bum.
Find out on next week's episode. Right, let's go.
Right, that's us for now. Thank you so much for joining us. We are Joella and Helen. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can do at pod.andanotherthing@gmail.com. You can reach out to us on our socials as well. We're on them Instagram. We're really easy to find. And Another Thing Podcast. I sound like I'm so used to spouting all of this out.
And still no one emails.
No one emails.
Occasionally Steve emails.
Oh,
a few people.
Steve.
Yeah, I've not seen Steve in ages. Have no idea how
Steve's
their
on
trip
holiday.
went. Yeah, but they must be back now.
I don't know. How long was Steve on holiday
There was
for?
a listener in Portugal. Oh, I guess I can say where they went.
Yeah. Steve's not her real name, by the way.
No,
She just decided that she would be called Steve.
because we can't mention the real names.
Yeah.
So Steve it is.
Steve it is.
Anyway, I hope you had a good time, Steve. Come in. Yeah. Let us know.
Right. Well, that's us for now. Have a good idea.
Almost forgot what to say.